Hi everybody, welcome to Caketastic Cakes. It's Jen and I'm going to show you how to make chocolate leaves using real leaves as the mold. Now, to begin making chocolate leaves, I went out in my yard and I found some maple leaves and some birch leaves. I have heard that you can use pretty much any kind of a tree leaf as long as the tree doesn't have too many tannins in it. So like oak trees, even though they have a really great shape to them, they have a lot of tannins in it and might get into the chocolate. I don't know. It's just what I heard. So I use maple and birch and I've never had any problem. So I brought in my leaves. You have to find ones that aren't real crispy and crunchy. They have to have still, some strength left to them. And even if you find ones that are still on the tree, that's even better because they're a little tougher. I washed them very carefully, dried them very carefully, and now I am using my fingers just to rub some Crisco, some vegetable shortening on the one side of them. You're going to want the underside of the leaf where the veins really stick out. That'll give you the better impression. I ended up doing both because I haven't done this in a while and I kind of forgot. And when I was peeling them off, I was like, oh yeah, look at that, huh? Anyway, so for the handful of leaves I got there, I melted about a half a cup of chocolate. This is salted caramel chocolate. It's Wilton's Candy Melts chocolate. I put it in the microwave for like 30 seconds, stirred it up. It was still chunky, stuck it up back in, and then I started doing it for 15-second bursts because I was just nervous I would overdo it. So there's no stove, no steaming or double pots or anything like that. I just stuck it in the microwave for little increments, stirred it till it got to be a good consistency, and then figured we are good to go. All right, I like what I had going on here. Nice and smooth and runny. You don't want it super runny, so if you overdo it, just let it sit on the counter and cool for a little bit. Just keep stirring and checking on it here and there until you get a good consistency. This is just something I've been messing with. I've seen those chocolate streaks people make and decorate cakes with, so I wanted to see what it was like. So I put a little scoop on some parchment paper, took a flat brush as you see, and just kind of pulled it out gently. And then I stuck that in the fridge just to see what would happen. Again, I don't think most people are decorating their cakes with kind of like baby poo colored brown chocolate wedges. But I wanted to see, and I was like, oh, look at that. That's so easy. Just like a little side note for you guys there. That's just how easy it is to make those. All right, anyway, getting back to our leaves. Now I am taking my melted chocolate, taking big old dollops of it on my paintbrush there. This is just craft paint brushes I got from, I want to say, Walmart or somewhere. And I am just generously painting onto the leaf, just glopping that chocolate on there. That's the proper term. On top of the Crisco, just smearing it around. I pull it out past the edge of the leaf, as you can see, onto my counter. And again, because I haven't done this in a long time, I forgot that when you pull it onto your counter like that, and then you put another leaf on top of it, that chocolate gets, on the other side of the leaf, and it kind of makes like a sandwich out of the leaf if it connects to the edge. And then when you peel it off, it becomes kind of tricky, and you might end up breaking it a little bit. So just kind of listen to my experience here. Again, it's been a while since I made these. These are just kind of fun to do. It was just a silly little project that really kind of ends up looking nice when you put it with a pumpkin cake or, an autumn, any type of Halloween turkey cake thing. It's nice. And you could just serve them as a treat too because it's chocolate. So once you get them painted on there, stick them in the fridge. I got them on parchment paper there, chocolate side up. Let them cool for half an hour or so. It doesn't take too long because it's so darn thin. And then you have the joy of trying to peel the leaves off. And don't forget, we added the Crisco to it, so this could be a whole lot worse than what you're seeing here. And this is me sped up too, like I sped up the footage of me doing this. So you're going to start at the stem, at the very bottom of the leaf. Try to avoid picking at the edges because you're going to lose all of that really fine detail on the edge of the leaves that make it look so realistic and leaf-like. But you're going to end up peeling and scraping and picking. So you just peel it at the stem where it connects, and hopefully they all come off as lovely as this one here. I gotta say the maple leaves really do make a nice shape. And they typically come off pretty easily too. They're not the worst ones in the world, not like these little birch leaves. Well, that one wasn't terrible either. But yeah, I'm just carefully picking. I'm using my nail just to kind of scrape it off. You don't want to scrape too much because then, again, you're going to lose some of the details of the veining because you're just going to scratch right through it. You're also got to be aware that the heat from your fingers and your hands, if you hold one spot of your leaves too long, they might start to melt the chocolate or soften it, so you might lose a little bit of detail there. If you have super cold hands like mine, my fingers are always really cold. It's not such a problem. Just something to kind of be aware of when you're working on these things. And also, you don't have to use the color that I chose too. I just went with a very earthy brown, as I may have mentioned, baby poo colored chocolate, just because I figured it would be easier to color, and that is what I'm doing here. I have gold powder, edible powder. I have a red edible shimmer and a green edible shimmer. So I added a little bit of water to my gold first, and I have a big old paintbrush there, and as you see, I am just kind of dolloping all around the edge of the leaf. I really wanted to accent the edges because that's where most of your details really going to shine through. So that's why I wanted it bright and shiny. That's just a little bit of water, mixing it back in. And like I was saying, bright and shiny, really highlight it, really make it stand out. And I was just going carefully along the edges. The other side of your leaf, if you do decide to try making this, you're going to notice is kind of ugly because it's where you brushed it on. You're only going to have one good side, and because it is chocolate and it is shaped, it's not going to be able to fit to your cake. You know, you can't use it like you would a a fondant decoration where it's soft and pliable and you can make it bend or shape to your will. This is going to be however it cooled. And I've also seen people use fake plastic leaves, like the decorative leaves you might get in a store just to lay on your counter and be cute, and make chocolate molds out of that. I honestly don't know how comfortable I'd be with putting hot chocolate onto a very cheap plastic that isn't meant to be exposed to heat. I'm not sure if any of the chemicals in the plastic would leach out. I would be nervous of it, honestly. So, you know, do whatever you think is best, but this works, and I feel like, you know, it doesn't hurt you. As you can see now, I've moved on to the red shimmer that I have. I add a little bit of water to it. I'm just dusting it over the center now. This is just to give it a little bit more color, get away from that baby poo that I had been rocking for this whole time. And now I am even adding a little bit of a dark emerald green to it. I'm more trying to kind of go over the heavy veins of it with the green. And if you can see, it kind of, it's working. But it comes out kind of heavy in certain spots, like I've got like that big dark patch right there. You can always add more color to it if you want. Take away color if you don't like it. You could use a white chocolate so you can add whatever color you want to it. But for this, any heavy spots that I didn't care for, I'm just using that big brush, the gold one originally, and just brushing over it, blending it more. And once you get all the colors to the point where you're happy with them, then you've got some really cool, realistic looking, totally edible chocolate leaves. So I hope you found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe because I find that helpful. If you guys end up making this, please send it to me. I'd love to see anything that you make using my videos. And as always, thank you for watching Caketastic Cakes.